take a look at, I'm recording this in case anybody needs it. So what I'd like to do is take a look at the work that you did and talk a little bit about the challenges that you had. And then I want to move on to another subject. I want to talk about interviewing techniques and show you some videos of good interviews. Okay? All right, so the work that you did, anybody have, you all had questions, I know, and I'm happy to answer them. So tell me, who wants to talk about the questions first before you show? Nobody? Okay. So remember, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to a whiteboard. VO, oopsie daisy. VO, come on, don't get foolish here. All right. VOSOT, very simple. You have the lead, one paragraph or so. You have the VO, copy, one paragraph or so, 8 to 10, it depends what the story is, 15 lines. 8 lines equals about 25 seconds. And then you have the SOT. And that is it. That's all it is, a VOSOT. Very, very simple. Very simple. Everybody understand that? I'm going to stop sharing. So a lot of you went beyond, above and beyond, and did great things. You got several sound bites. You wrote them into the VOSOT format, but then it becomes much more like a package. So once we finish this exercise with the VOSOTs, I'd like you to take the material that you have and turn it into a package. So that would mean you would write your narration, track 1, track 2, track 3, I'll go over it with you. You would send me your script, I will approve it, and then you will record the track on your phone, and then you will import your track into Premiere along with the video, and then you will edit your package. So your package will have, who knows what the elements that a package has? Anybody remember?
Well, it's got the VO and the SOT like we're using this time.
Okay, so in a package, there is no VO. This is all confusing, and I understand that.
Oh, okay.
Like
because VO
a
is
completely different language from Mars. It's just, it's TV talk, it's video talk. It's not what we normally think of. So what you only have a VO, when the reporter or anchor reads it live, when it is not connected to the video, when the video and the audio are not edited together. So you have your sequence down on your timeline. You today are going to read your VO copy over the video just like an anchor or reporter would do. And then you'll see how it works. For a package, you have a stand-up, but you don't have to do a stand-up. Too complicated right now. You have, but you generally have a stand-up, sound bites, natural sound, and tracks. Tracks are the recorded narration, your recorded narration. If you're the producer, it's a reporter's recorded narration. Everybody got that? Yes? Okay.
so the track is like it's like a VO, but it's recorded ahead of time. So the voiceover is live, the track is recorded.
Perfect. That's exactly right. Exactly right. Everybody get that? Okay. I've showed you examples where anchors are reading over video or over stills. That's a VO. That's a VO. Okay. So now, who's going to go first? Who's going to show their work and read?
I can
Come
go first.
on.
I can go first if you want.
Okay, I'm happy to have you go first. Okay, so share your screen.
Okay. I'm a little nervous.
Don't be nervous. This is hard. How many people found it hard? Yeah.
All right, you see it?
See it? Now, what I want you to do is read your lead first and then roll your video and read your copy over the rolling video.
Okay. With most places of worship meeting online due to COVID restrictions on public gatherings, some churchgoers have found creative ways to social distance and still gather for church.
So this isn't like...
Before the pandemic, Tim Cox attended church every week. He supports social distancing but still misses gathering in person. So he and some friends meet in Prospect Park for what he calls Park Church.
I was sick of being on Zoom. We just had a lot of Zoom stuff and I wanted to be with people, and I thought that we could do it in an easy way where everybody just, you know, walked to the park that they live closest to and got together 30 minutes. You don't even have to sit down. Just do 30 minutes of stuff and then you leave.
That's it. Good job. But I do want to say one thing. I want to say something about the writing. And you all have this problem. And it's totally understandable. It's just because of the way we all learn in school. You repeat the same words over and over again. How many times, count the times you said church. I'm not picking on you. So don't defend yourself.
No,
but what do you do in church? You pray. So why wouldn't you substitute a word like prayer for church rather than say it twice in 2 lines? And that's really the thing for this kind of writing that's very important. Variety is important in any kind of writing, but for broadcast or video on any platform, it's the ear that is hearing this, if people are listening or watching, and the words are jarring. You get lost in the repetitive, boring idea of the lack of variation. It's just that simple. You need variety. You need variety and balance. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Nate, you ready?
I actually am not. I wasn't here last week, and I never got a chance to email you asking for the recording of last week, so I didn't see that class yet.
Okay. So you will do the assignment, and for next week, actually. Okay. And
yes.
you get to perform in class. You don't get away with it.
No, I
okay.
figured.
All right.
Yeah, I'm writing an email to send you last week's news quiz and to ask for the thing. So
okay.
In like a couple minutes.
Elena?
Yeah, so I guess I got confused with the track and the voiceover and jumped the gun a bit because I
sent you an email last night.
I know, I thought that was just in terms of the script writing.
No. I mean, hey guys, if I take the time to do this, this is time consuming. I'm doing my part here. You have to jump in. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
the voiceover is like in it already.
All right, so what? So you show it and then we'll see where it's right or wrong, or how you fit the format. The whole idea here is that you have a new vocabulary. You have a visual vocabulary and you have a literary vocabulary that corresponds with what happens in newsrooms around the world. You can go anywhere and people will ask you to do this. Okay.
All right. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. So just read your lead.
Okay. So at the new skating park at Van Cortlandt in the
A
Bronx.
little bit more power, Elena. You can do that. This class requires you to be partially a performer.
Okay. At the new skating park at Van Cortlandt in the Bronx, two beginner skaters became unlikely friends for the day.
Okay.
But do you still want me to read it over? Cause
I do want you to read it over so you can see, so we can all see and understand. Yes.
Okay. So do you want me to mute the audio in the video?
I want the audio to match the video. I want you to read it. If it doesn't, you'll see what you did wrong. This is the only way.
No, like what I'm saying is I recorded audio of me talking, saying the script, and I already put it with the visual.
Oh, I see. I didn't understand that. All right. Well, why don't you play what you did?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can you? Okay. At the new skating park at Van Cortlandt in the Bronx, two beginner skaters became unlikely friends for the day. 12-year-old
Okay, stop it. Stop it. So you would never record that part of it.
Okay.
All right. So you would never record that part of it. Even for a package, you would never record the lead.
Okay.
Unless you were going to appear on camera, and but you want to have your lead separate. Okay.
Okay. All the sports he's played, skating is his favorite. 22-year-old Bree lost her job because of COVID, but is taking advantage of the time to learn something new. Skater's superstition says it's bad luck to buy a board already complete. Bree and Desi assembled theirs by hand, adding a bit of flair and personal attachment. And they already have their hearts set on learning some cool tricks. Down. Take flip. Take flip. Are you gonna keep skating together?
Okay. So, all right. Well, go ahead. Play the interview.
It wasn't like a long.
I'm sorry?
It was just a clip that was it. Yeah.
It was just a soundbite. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but that was it.
Did you edit it?
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. It was like
Down. Take flip. Take flip. I'm getting it. Are you gonna keep skating together, or maybe?
Okay. So you had a terrific subject. Very clever, really great. We can talk about shooting and all that stuff separately. But for a VO, all you needed was 4 or 5 lines about these two kids who found each other, decorated their skateboards, and now we need a soundbite. That's it. Very, very simple. And I'm glad that we played it because it's going to go to the next part of our class where we talk about interviewing. Elena, what kind of question did you ask them?
I asked them like how long they've been skating for, why they decided to skate, if they've been to that skating park before, or if it was their first time. I thought they were brother and sister, so like I was like, "Are you guys like brother and sister?" And they said no, that they were friends and they just met that day. And
well, that's terrific. I mean, that's a story. Then you change the story to based on that. But you said the question you put in there, and by the way, you don't need to use your question. Keep this in mind as you're going forward. You don't need to use your questions. Your questions make things longer. But what your questions do is theoretically elicit good responses from people. So we don't necessarily have to hear your question, but we do want a good response. Now, Elena asked, are you two going to keep skating together? And what kind of question is that?
Yes and no.
Yes. So it's a closed question. You get the door slammed on you right away. No, maybe. Yes, no. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is get people talking so that you get their passion, or you get their sorrow, or you get their sense of joy, or you just get the facts mail. So what's a better question to ask these two skaters? You know the skaters, you just saw them. And it's a really good story.
I guess, how do you enjoy skating together? Something like that. Right.
Well, yeah, but you know, I would want to know what drew you together.
Okay.
You know, there are other skaters out there. You know, what made you two guys want to, or you guy and gal want to skate together? I'd want to know about their boards. Was that what made them interested in each other? Because you really talked about the relationship, so you need relationship questions.
Got it.
Everybody with me on this? I mean, it's a great illustration, and it flows perfectly into what we're gonna talk about next. Jen, you're next, or you're showing. Okay?
Okay, just give me a moment.
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen?
No.
Hello?
What's up, Jen?
I'm trying to share my screen, but it's not letting me.
Why not?
I don't know, it says I need permission.
Okay. I'm going to make you a co-host, so let's see what happens. There you go.
Okay, can you guys see my screen now? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay. So, Brooklyn swim lovers attempted to take advantage of the ocean view as lowering.
Jen, you want to read your lead separately. I'm sorry. So
yeah, this is the lead.
Not go over the video. So read your lead, read the lead, and then roll the video and read your copy. Read your.
Yeah, this is my lead.
Okay, so just read it and don't roll the video, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Brooklyn swim lovers attempted to take advantage of the ocean view as lowering temperatures marked the end of summer. Beachgoers could be seen enjoying the sun, strolling along the Brighton Beach boardwalk. Although September 7th marked the closing of all public beaches, it did not stop some from enjoying the cool ocean water as long as they could. With coronavirus cases increasing in the Brighton Beach area, many took the precaution of wearing face masks. However, others did not.
Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So in terms of the shooting, everybody, yeah? In terms of the shooting, you have nice wide shots. What you don't have are sequences.
Mhm.
What do I mean by sequences?
Like they have to flow in order.
No. So maybe it was a class you missed. So maybe we should talk about that. But I need somebody else. Somebody else. What are sequences?
If I'm correct, like multiple shots of the same action, like wide shot, medium shot, yeah, close up.
Over the shoulder shot, an artistic shot, and I can go over this with you, and it's on the class website. So it's really important. Elena, you had the same problem. You're not shooting in sequences. What happens is, and this is totally understandable, you get out there and you see things and they're very interesting, and then you kind of freeze up. I don't want to get too close. Now, we don't want to get too close now with COVID, that's for sure. But we can get a little closer than you got, Jennifer. We can get a little, and we can also zoom in. I mean, it's not the greatest with the phone, but
yeah,
you can do that. But whatever it is, you want multiple shots. Your first shot over that long piece of copy was not interesting. I mean, it set it up. That was fine. Now I want to see two people up close. Up as close as you can get in the current environment.
Okay, noted.
And everything else, same thing. I mean, we really didn't see, and of course it's hard to see when it's just on the timeline, but you didn't shoot in sequences, face masks, people on the beach, all that stuff. Anybody else have anything to add? Okay, Seth, are you ready?
I was just gonna add.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, Susan.
That like I really wanted to be able to see the people. They were all so far away. She was seeing people, she was talking about them, and I wanted to see the person with the mask versus the person without the mask. And I felt like I was like kept out of the story because everybody was so far away.
And that's a really important thing. Susan's observation is right on the money. We want to feel like we're part of the story, like we have a connection with the people. And both the three of you, Susan, Jen, and Elena, you chose smart things, visual stories, really visual stories. And you get points for that. Often students don't understand that you need things to move. You need nice pictures to tell a video story, nice images. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so good for the three of you on that. All right. All righty.
Yes. Let me get the weed first.
Okay.
My mother specializes in making pancakes in the fall. In Nyack neighborhoods, know the season has turned when they smell the fresh bacon coming from her open window. All right?
Okay.
Wait. It's not that exciting, but whatever. My mother takes pleasure in every step of pancake making. She mixes the butter slowly until it reaches a smooth consistency. Then she gets her grinder away and take care to place even spoonfuls of butter on the hot surface. She makes sure the flame underneath is just right and watch her creations turn golden brown. Then it's time to serve them up with raw butter and maple syrup from Vermont. That's it,
Okay. Well, good job, sort of. But, okay. So come back to us.
Okay.
So does anybody have an observation about this based on what we've been talking about?
I wanted the scene to change. I wanted the sequences like you talked about. I really wanted to hear from his mom.
I wanted the video to match the words, and it didn't.
I wanted syrup.
You're talking about she takes pleasure in every aspect or whatever the line was. But, you know, if you want to see her stirring, you want to see her making the batter, then you want to see her dropping it on the griddle. I mean, you need all of those things that you talked about. Otherwise, it's just like we're so confused. What's happening here? It's a total disconnect. A total disconnect. Yeah?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so I'd like you to redo. Okay, and redo and reshow next week. Okay?
Oh, okay.
But Seth has limitations because he has, you broke your foot?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he broke his foot. So he can't, it's hard for him to get out. So
Do you want me to shoot another video, or do you want me to rewrite the words, the script?
I think you need to reshoot this. You know, get her to cook something else. I think you need to reshoot it because I don't think you shot it well. And I think what Susan said at the beginning is correct. First of all, you need to hold your shots for 10 seconds each. So you get a wide shot for 10 seconds. That doesn't mean you edit them for 10 seconds. A wide shot for 10 seconds, a close-up for 10 seconds, an over-the-shoulder shot for 10 seconds, all of that. And each shot would be three seconds each. And then it makes a really great sequence. Same thing goes for you, Elena. You had all these long shots, but what you wanted really was, we wanted to see sequences of shots.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Seth, go ahead.
No, I said maybe I think I could do a little better now that I could somewhat stand for a period of time now. So hopefully I can get better shots now.
Okay, all right. Sherry?
My Premiere is frozen, but I do have the video on like MP something, so I could try doing that. Is it? Oh. Is it showing?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. So the lead is, and actually I need to get like different shots actually, so it's not perfect. So the lead is, some people keep everything. They feel bad if they throw something out. Sherry Wu's grandpa isn't quite a hoarder, but he's a major fixer.
Okay.
Schumann Lee makes the workbench the first stop of his day. See, the thing is, am I supposed to say this like all at once?
Yeah, as the video rolls, you're supposed to read it. Correct.
Because if I say it, it's gonna it's not gonna show him doing it yet.
Well, then that tells you something about your writing, right?
Yeah. Or so I would have to make the shot like.
No, that's the whole point of the exercise. Is this lets us see if we succeeded in doing a VO or not. Okay?
Okay. So, this is a bit long. I was gonna say, Schumann Lee makes the workbench the first stop of his day. He always finds something to repair. Today, it's an old umbrella. The ribs tore. Wait, you see? It like went to.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's the ribs tore away from the fabric, but he thinks he can straighten them out and put them back. He's a master, and he always manages to fix what seems impossible. And I was gonna end it there because it made no sense.
Yeah, but it didn't tell us anything. You had a lot of words and shots that didn't correspond to the words, and so you really did not get that story, right?
Yeah, I need like an umbrella shot, like when he finishes.
You need to think this through. This is not like, oh, I'm gonna wave my camera around. This is not, and you need the 5 sequence shots, and you need many shots. Just like Jennifer Jen, I keep calling you Jen. Is that the name that you go by, or would you prefer Jennifer?
Jen is fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Jennifer's fine. Okay. So
Jen or Jennifer, whichever you're more comfortable with.
Jennifer is the name you choose. I'm with you. So Jennifer had the same problem with her boardwalk shots. You want to make sure that you have the shots you need. And you didn't. So maybe your grandpa fixing is not such a good subject unless he's going to fix something else. You need to reshoot this. You need to take it seriously.
Okay.
I wonder if she could make it like some people are really struggling to not be able to, you know, go out and do such and such during this time, but so-and-so doesn't have that problem because he loves to stay at home.
Story from that angle. That's correct. But she still doesn't have the shots. And she could tell a zillion stories, but she needs the shots. I mean, she shot what she shot and then didn't go back and get any, right? This is your grandpa. You live with him. Come on. Come on, come on. And we want to see more of him. I mean, he's okay. Okay. The next is Catherine.
Okay. I put it into a movie already, so I'm just gonna show that.
Catherine, you understood the assignment, right?
Yeah, the only thing is, I do think maybe I didn't do the lead part right. I didn't like think about the lead, but I think I know how to accommodate that at the moment.
Okay, so yeah, so you want to read over this live, is that correct? You're going to read over the copy, Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. Start with your lead. Start the way you did it. Let's see how it goes.
The way I originally did it, or the way that I'm going to change it?
The way that you're going to change it.
Okay. All right. New York City is reopening parts of the city, such as gyms and restaurants, since early September. West 50th Street and Rockefeller Center is one of the gyms belonging to the
No. See, we don't want to hear that track. That is a track. We want you to read over it.
Sorry, what?
All right, get out of the screen. You didn't do the right exercise.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay, so did you see the way Jennifer, Elena, and Susan, and Seth, and Sherry read over their video? In other words, they did not edit the video and the audio together. So for a VO-SOT, VO is live. It's when an anchor or reporter reads live over video. Yeah, so we don't want to have a pre-recorded track. It's never pre-recorded.
I was reading over it just now.
You were reading over it? It sounded like it was recorded.
Oh, well, yeah, I was reading it just now.
Okay, all right. So go back in and then read over it.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, maybe make sure you keep your mouth really close, because like we couldn't
hear. Get closer to the screen, because we were having a hard time. It sounded like you recorded in your phone and you recorded from a mile away.
Could you hear me reading it, or was the video too loud?
No, it was, you sounded really tinny and hard to understand.
Okay. Okay. So starting with my lead, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. New York City is reopening parts of the city, such as gyms and restaurants, since early September. Based in West 50th Street and Rockefeller Center is one of the gyms belonging to billion-dollar company. We spoke to Lonnie Baylon, a locker room attendant who's been working there for 10 years.
Yes, as a maintenance person, we feel comfortable and safe because one, we have to wear the mask, and they also tell the members to wear the mask, and we are given masks every day, new masks every time we come into work, and they give us gloves, and they give us everything that we need to keep everything nice and disinfect it and clean. This is done every day. Every time someone finishes using the machine, we wipe them down. Even though the members wipe them down, we wipe them down a second time.
Some employees in other gyms, like gym fitness.
Okay, so we're going to stop you here. We're going to stop you here. We're going to stop you here, Catherine. Stop. Give me back this. Give us back the screen. So a VO is really simple. It's the lead and then one paragraph of copy, which you essentially had, and then one soundbite. So it's up to you to choose. This is the hard thing. It's making choices. The person who is the reporter, the writer, the producer needs to make a choice. Which soundbite do I use? Which portion of the interview do I use? They may all be great, but for this format, you only have 25 or 30 seconds. That's it. So you can't stop and start. Once you're out of it, you're out of it. The end of a soundbite is the end of a soundbite. Your video didn't show us anything. And I'm surprised because I loved the shots in your last video. And so I wonder if you had a problem.
Well, I had more to the video that was talking about another gym, Blink, which also is a part of Equinox group.
Right, but that's a separate idea. So these stories, these little VO SOTs only have one idea. If you want to say restaurants at Rockefeller Center are opening, 2 fancy new restaurants are there. Let's see them. Let's see the fancy new restaurants. Let's see the restaurants. But then you would, in the same paragraph, you would write, and across town or uptown or downtown, Blink opened its doors for its members, and they're happy to be there. And then the soundbite would just be from the Blink person. So you can combine more than one thing, but you need to show it with your video and before the soundbite, and it needs to flow. It needs to make sense. And again, the writing is an issue. It's like what I talked about at the beginning with when I mentioned that you want to make sure that you're not saying reopening 25,000 times, that you vary the words, vary the language. Are you understanding me?
Yeah, so so what I need is more shots showing like more of the story, like the restaurants and the people at the restaurants.
Even though it's only 25 seconds, you need, if you're telling a story about restaurants being open, just stick with that. Forget about Blink, forget about, just restaurants are open, you have a good soundbite with the woman. Restaurants are open, are people scared? You know, just stick with the one thing. Keep it simple, but you need to get the shots. And you didn't have the shots. Don't forget, you have a five shot sequence. So, and you only use 3 to 4 seconds of each of those shots. And you have 25 or 30 seconds to fill. So you need a lot of shots. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Omar, you're next. Omar?
He's muted. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'd like to turn mine. I don't have mine this week, so
okay.
I'll have it next week.
Okay. Fiola.
I have mine. I don't have a soundbite
It's
for
okay.
it.
It's okay.
I don't know if I did it right, but let me pull it up 1 second.
Okay. So are you finding this interesting, everybody?
Yes.
It's different.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody who didn't, well, we'll finish.
Sorry, 1 second, it's just loading.
Okay, no problem.
So, share screen. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So, my lead is to assure the safety of residents and staff. Buildings like 50 North 5th have taken many precautions for COVID, like requiring masks for visitors and residents as well as staff, and placing a large clear plastic around the front desk to ensure the 6 feet requirement.
Okay.
This is the video.
You have to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, go back.
To here?
To the head, and where you start to talk.
Oh, and then at this part, I wrote that like this Mac management has placed little stickers on the floor, little footstep stickers on the floor.
Roll the video. So this is a question of you have to roll the video and talk at the same time.
Okay.
Maybe hard. And you're looking at your video and you're narrating it.
Okay. To assure safety, the management has placed stickers on the floor for 6 feet requirement. They also require government issue ID for any visitors for the resident safety. Concierge constantly looks at the cameras to ensure no one is in the building.
Okay.
That isn't required to be there.
Okay. So what did you learn from that?
I needed to compile my writing more so it's not as long, or to, because my videos were 10 seconds and I guess I shortened them too much. So maybe to leave it a little longer so my speaking doesn't go over the video.
So here's the way to handle that. You write your script, you put your track down, and then you edit, you bring in the shots to match the words.
Okay.
That's simple.
Okay.
But I think you may want to do something else. First of all, your video and your words didn't match, did they? When you talked about the first thing you said before in your lead, that all matched. But when you talked about put down stickers for 6 feet apart, we didn't see the stickers.
It was a really small part. I don't know if I should have zoomed more into it.
You should have gotten not zoomed. You should have gotten
a direct shot of it.
A very specific shot.
Okay.
But the problem, Fiola, with this kind of story is that nobody moves except you.
Okay.
There's nothing going on. You know, it's like Jennifer had just really, you know, opportunity, really a good subject. Elena had a good video subject. Susan had really good video subject. Sherry had the potential for really good video subject, but you killed yourself there. You killed yourself by the choice of just being in a static place where the guy at the desk didn't even get up.
Okay.
It's boring, basically.
All right.
And you don't want to make videos that are boring, right?
No.
No. Okay. And Seth, the pancake making could have been good. Something is going on. You need something going on. Okay. Are you with me on this? So can you please redo for next week?
All
okay.
Right.
Lilibeth, you're next. Hi.
Can everyone see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks pretty.
So, I mean, I have it here, but I'm not too sure how to make it. It sounds weird, but I don't know how to make it play like throughout. It doesn't actually play, but like look. Can you? So I'm not too
So
sure.
you want to just take your I want to do it for you. Take the cursor back, the blue line thing back.
The blue line here?
Yeah. Just hit the, yeah. Right. And then just press your space bar. All right, what if you go down to your sequence, to your timeline? Right, now bring that to the head, back to the head.
Where is the head?
At the beginning.
Okay.
Okay, now hit your space bar. Or that, yeah, the video should move.
Yeah, it's not moving. I've been having trouble with that.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look right to me. Honestly, I don't think, it doesn't look like you put them in the timeline correctly.
And I was searching it up on the internet, like on YouTube, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, you didn't bring them to the timeline correctly. Just for kicks, give me an in and out on the guy running and put it at the head of the timeline.
So put it here.
All right, so click on the guy running in that little box. Not there, upper left.
In this.
Yeah, all right, now click on that video. No, not there, in that box, stay in that box.
Okay.
And it's not rolling?
No.
All right, hit the space bar. Not, okay, go back, click on the guy. Click on the guy.
Okay.
And do I.
Okay. I space or, I don't know.
No, just like you would hit.
I did. I've been having trouble with that all weekend.
Yeah, I think we're going to get you to either talk to me later or talk to Marco, okay? Because
okay.
It's not right. Your sequence doesn't look correct on the timeline, so you did something wrong.
For buttons at the top, mine is I'm always under like either assembly or editing at the top, and neither one of those are highlighted. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Is that you, Susan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So it should be under editing. I don't know why Marco does it under assembly, but you know, he's a professional editor and I am not. So I would edit everything under editing. It's so much easier. It gives you the 4 quadrants. You see it. And I would choose my ins and outs of my my shots from the upper left box. So, but we need to.
I think those are stills and not videos. I see JPEG at the top left.
No, like these are videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. Did you import? But she's right. It says JPEG.
I'm not too sure how. I mean, I don't want to go to my photos just because I don't want, you know.
Okay, all right. So listen,
the videos.
So I think, Jennifer, I'm sorry, Elizabeth, I think you imported them incorrectly. That's the start. Okay. So I think Susan's right. They're stills.
Okay.
So get rid of all of these and then re-import and make sure that you are importing MOV files or the MPEGs from however they come up from the iPhone. Do you understand?
Is there an area in the website, because I didn't find it on the website, like it actually
Yes, I will send it to you.
Okay.
Yes, okay, I will send it to you. Okay?
Okay.
All righty. All right, it's complicated. And everybody will get this. Everybody will get this. Okay. Yuli, are you ready?
Yes. I'm not really sure how to widen this part. Can you see the right side where it shows the school?
Yes.
Okay. Let me play it.
So wait, Yuli, before you play it, read your lead. Read
Okay.
your lead before you play it.
So school has been shut down since early March, and online learning has been used to teach young children.
Okay, now roll it.
Online learning has been decently effective to teach students, but a lot of teachers are swamped because their lesson plans are constantly being shifted. Ever since COVID-19, Giselle has been teaching her brothers as much as she can. She's been trying to make sure they get their assignments done without feeling overwhelmed and frustrated.
It's overwhelming because I don't know the proper way to teach. I'm not a teacher. So I try to help them as much as I can, and in a way that they'll understand it, because I know that they have specialized education, so they're not going to grasp the material right away, or the way that the teachers are trying to teach it. So it's hard.
Okay, so good job, but you had one shot. No, don't go back, Yuli. Go back. You don't get off this easy. Go back.
Sorry.
Okay, so go back to the head of it. This is for everybody. Okay, can you just roll the shots? You don't even have to read. Roll it. Okay, now stop. Stop. How boring was that first shot? Everybody? How boring? Do you all agree that it was boring?
The school shot, the shot of the school?
Yeah, real estate shots are always boring. You can't help it. It's not anybody's fault. They're just there. They're static shots. But the story came alive with it typing on the keyboard. And this goes for everybody. This kid is adorable. We want to know more about him.
Okay.
And if it were my story, what I would say is, what's his name?
His name is Jeriel.
Okay, Jeriel?
Yes.
Okay, spell it.
Jariel.
Okay, so Jeriel works the keyboard and tries to pay attention to the screen in front of him, but sometimes it's really hard. That's why his big sister, Giselle, is that what you said her name was?
Yes.
Often leans in to help. Since school reopened, he's been learning online. His mother preferred to keep him home, and Giselle has to help. And then you go to Giselle's soundbite.
Okay.
Much warmer story. We get a better idea of what this means to a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And the kid is adorable.
Also, it's like instead of her cameras going from his hands up to his face, it should be like a separate shot, like stay on the hands, right? And then like a separate one on his face, and then another one from from over his shoulder or whatever.
Exactly. So you too, this is the 5-shot sequence issue. You want to have 5 shots for everything that you shoot.
Okay.
You've got 25 to 30 seconds to tell this VOSOT. Your shot should be 3 to 4 seconds long. So that's a lot of shots, but you need a lot of variety.
Okay.
This goes for everybody. Goes for everybody. Okay, you can give us back the screen. Can you please redo this for next week?
Yes.
Okay, So let's, everybody who had, Susan, I don't, you know, you can make a package out of yours if you want. I think you're fine. But everybody else, I would hope that you would redo and resubmit and bring it in next week. And I'll talk to you, Susan, separately about the package and what you need to do. You don't have to go back unless you want to do another VOSOT to get a better sense of it and practice the shooting, which is not a bad thing. I have some good news. We are being given tripods by the college. Each of you will have a tripod for your iPhone. The question is, how do we get the tripods to you?
Are they for us to keep like long term, or do we have to return them?
No, you have to return them. I think. I think it's the logistics that the school ordered the tripods before class began. The source was out of them. They said discontinued. Anyway, it turned out that the tripods came in yesterday. So we're trying to work out a plan for distributing them. There is an instructor in film who has an office in Midtown, and he's volunteered to be the distribution point. Would you travel to an office in Midtown to pick up the tripods? Will that work for you?
I live right by City College already.
I'm sorry?
I live right next to City College already, so if it would be possible for me to go there for it, that would be great. But I would be okay with traveling to Midtown if it was.
Yeah, no, you can't go. They don't want anybody on campus, and there is no person to give it out on campus. So the equipment people don't want to be there. It's really horrible. We have professional cameras that I'd like to teach you, but we can't get the cameras out of the college. So we're using the iPhones. We're gonna use tripods so that you can have steadier shots. We'll see where we go. Okay. All right. So are there any questions about the VOSOT? Does everybody understand it now? Okay. Let's take 10 minutes. It's 4:58, so let's come back at 10 after 5, take a little bathroom break, come back, and we'll go on to the next part of the class. So if you have a question now about this, talk to me about it now.
Well, Professor, I just want to make sure you receive my email that I sent prior. Okay, I just want to.
You're fine. I mean, just anybody who didn't do the assignment, do the assignment. You know, there's no point in having a class if you don't do the assignment. Okay?
Professor?
Yes.
Can I go on a separate like Zoom meeting with you this week to talk about how I can improve my video? Because I'm still a little bit like unsure of how I should have shot it.
Okay, absolutely. If you want to do it tomorrow, I'm available. Just shoot me an email when you can do it.
Okay.
We'll set it up. Are you leaving the class now, Catherine?
I'm not sure. I will update you in a few minutes if that's okay.
Okay, I hope you can stay because it'll be
okay.
Interesting. The next part of the class is going to be interesting. I, however, am recording this, so you will have the recording. All right. Anybody else who needs to have a private Zoom meeting with me can do that at any time. I'm happy to do that. Okay? Yes?
Professor?
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to ask if you wanted me to show you the previous 2 Premiere videos that we had to do, because when we were sharing them, my Premiere was frozen. So I don't know if you want me to share them now.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Everybody can go and come back at 10 after. I'll stay here with Jennifer.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first one I did when Marco was teaching us how to set up Premiere.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, you have a great eye.
Thank you.
Again, we need more shot. Oh no, you're not gonna put that cat in the water? Oh no! That's cruel. Okay, so you need more, you need to shoot in sequences. Same
Yeah.
thing. Same thing.
I think, yeah, the concept that I was struggling with was if the sequence shots have to be in like the order that you told us them, like over the head, medium.
No.
Long shot.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No. Did you look at the material on the website? Did you look at the videos on the website?
The vocabulary and the
So
videos
take
that you
another
showed.
look.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
Are we talking about the same thing? The 5-shot sequence? I have 2 videos with 5-shot sequence. Did you look at them?
Yeah, I saw the first one that you showed about the guy actually showing the different types of shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the bicycle.
The bicycle, right.
Mhm.
That's what it's all about.
Okay. Yeah.
Go back and look at them. Go back and look at them.
Okay. Because then I had done another one.
Okay.
But some of my shots got lost for this one. Like they weren't loading onto Premiere.
That's not unusual. So now, wait. So now you would tell him, stay there, just stay there, and then you would go down to the bottom of the steps, and you'd get his feet going down the last 2 steps.
Okay.
And then he would turn around, and you would say, wait, and you'd get him going back up.
Okay.
The back of him.
Yeah.
And then up here, you want to get a close up of his face.
Okay.
5 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, instead of zooming in, you want to get separate shots.
Okay.
You want to get his fists. You can't follow the ball. So in sports, sports photographers know that that's the first rule. You can't follow the ball. The eye is not as fast as the ball. The camera cannot catch it. That's why they have multiple cameras for sport events. So you need to just focus on getting 1 shot at a time. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, you have a bright future in this.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Professor. I'll be sure to reshoot some footage for next week's VOSOT.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. All right. So give us we have like another 5 minutes, take a break and come back. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, is everybody back? Everybody back? No? Has everyone returned? Say yes.
Yes.
Speak up.
I'm
Yes.
here. Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yuli?
Turn.
Yes.
Okay, great. Desiree?
Yes, I'm here.
Desiree, you didn't show your video.
Yeah, I'm having a problem with my connection, but I'm still working on it. I used my video last week.
Okay, so
yeah, I'm still working my voice, like to put
okay,
it on there.
all right. So you do it. You show it next week. Okay.
Yeah, the thing is that I want to record in the same place, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back.
Well, then maybe do something else. Okay.
Oh, I can do something different.
Do something else. I'll talk to you about it afterwards. So just stay afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
Do we meet next week?
we meet on Wednesday, I believe.
Wednesday.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday. Is that correct? That's what I have on the schedule.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
right on
Wednesday.
the Monday schedule.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
all right. So the interview. You interview people all the time in your conversation. You interview everybody you talk to. You just don't call it an interview. And the object isn't always to get information, but you end up learning a lot in a conversation if you listen to what other people say. Is that correct? Everybody?
Yes.
What's your, Nate, you've been working for the campus. What's your observation about interviewing?
For what I found, it's best to sort of treat it like a conversation and have a couple of like solid questions to get information, and then sort of back and forth with follow-up questions after that. That's been the most effective way for me.
I think that's the most effective way, period. So before you start, you have to research. You need to have the background. You can't go into any interview cold because people always surprise you. And you want to make sure that you know what you're asking and you know what you're talking about. But if you need to have a follow-up question, you have the information in order to be able to do that. Also, you want to be sure that while you are learning new information from the subject whom you are interviewing, that that person isn't evading your questions or lying to you. Anybody else? Anybody else have a thought about interviewing?
So it's like that balance between having an idea of where you want to go in your questions, but also be willing to pivot from something that they say that's super interesting and you want them to go further in that.
Right. So let's just do a little experiment here. Jennifer, meet Susan Thorson. I'm going to tell you something about Susan Thorson. Susan works at a religious organization, and she does their publications, social media.
Just writing and editing for them. I don't do social.
Right, writing and editing. Okay, so now Jennifer, you want to know more. Ask Susan Thorson a couple of questions.
Okay, well, I find that really interesting. What specifically do you write about and edit for the publication?
I actually get to interview people from around the world and find out, and especially in this season right now with COVID, like what was their ministry like before COVID? How has COVID affected them? What do they see going forward? So that's been really fascinating. And then I edit different proposals for fundraising, whatever kind of comes my way.
Oh, cool. Do you guys have like a publication that you publish for?
We do. We have, it used to be quarterly. We've cut it back now, but something called Snapshot. So it's literally a snapshot of these people from around the world. And then we have emails I help to write and edit. And then the proposals are going to foundations for fundraising. So there's internal editing and external and different things like that.
How long have you been doing that for?
It was it'll be 5 years in February. So about 4.5 years, I guess.
Oh wow. What made you get started into that, or did you pivot from there from somewhere else, or was it always like a journalism background?
I totally backed into it. I knew someone who worked there, and my husband actually works there as well. And so I said to my husband, tell so-and-so that I'll help her with this event that's coming up. I'll volunteer for her. And she said back to my husband, tell Susan I'd like to hire her. And so I came in just to help with an event, and one thing led to another, and I'm still there.
Oh, that's awesome. Does your husband also do editing? And
no, he needs to be edited all the time. he actually works with in fundraising.
Okay, Jennifer, that's really good. I mean, that's really good. You did a good job. But I thought you missed an opportunity. I thought that you, when she said she interviews people from all around the world, that's about people. You know, the rest of this is kind of dry, and you do get a good idea of what it is that she's doing on the one hand, but on the other hand, I want to know about the people she interviews. You know, who are they?
Yeah.
Where are they from? What are their stories? What are you hearing? COVID-19, what are you hearing from other countries? What was the last person you talked, what did the last person you talked to say that really made you sit up? That kind of thing. So you want to be responsive to the person, whatever the person is saying, you want to be open enough to be able to draw them out. Okay, let's try one more of these. Nate and Sherry. Okay, you know each other. You've been in class together, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Nate, why don't you find out more about Sherry's community in Queens?
Hi, Sherry. So what is the name of your community to start off with?
So I live in Elmhurst, Queens.
Elmhurst. That's a pretty well-known
Yes.
Community. Have
Especially
you?
when COVID spiked, it was like the epicenter at one point.
How long have you been living there?
My whole life, so I'm 21 years, born and raised.
Yeah. So with the recent COVID spikes, have you known anyone personally who's been affected by the more recent outbreaks?
I know a lot of close friends who have other known people that passed away, unfortunately, but I also work with my doctors, so I know a lot of patients, their family members that used to come in to visit, sadly passed away from COVID.
What kind of doctors are you working with? Is it like a hospital or a smaller clinic?
It's a private practice. He does a private practice. He's a pediatrician, so it's a small clinic in Elmhurst.
Mm-hmm. How long has that been around? Is it like considered a staple of your community, or is it?
Yeah, it's been around he's opened for over 10 years now. Wow. In Elmhurst, yeah.
So have you felt sort of any change in the sort of structure of your community as a result of the outbreaks recently? Have you seen Elmhurst sort of get closer together, or have you seen the sort of structure?
So when the virus was at its peak, I feel like the streets were definitely dead. Now it's slowly becoming more lively, but there's still like people are still concerned, cautious with what they do.
Okay. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts, sweetie. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask the next question I was gonna ask would be something about like, have you seen people like even amid the hesitancy be like sort of anxious to get back out and into the community and their favorite restaurants and places like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's really weird because restaurants close at like 11 nowadays. So right after 11, like the streets are empty again. So I definitely do see more people, out than like as compared to like in March, but it's still very weird.
Very interesting. Okay, well that's not bad, Nate. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you. What's everybody think? He did a good job, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think you did a good job. I really do. All right, let's just do one more fast. Viola, find out what happened to Seth.
Ooh.
Viola?
Oh, this should be interesting.
Wait.
Meet
Sorry,
Seth.
I'm thinking.
Viola and Seth meet
Um,
each other. So find out what
so
happened to him.
I know you broke your foot, so I'm wondering what foot you broke and how you ended up breaking your foot.
So I worked at a day camp this summer, and I fell off a walk wall, and I just landed the wrong way on my right foot. That's how I broke it.
So how did that affect your work with the daycare? So I know you're probably
They,
not able to work there
well,
anymore.
well, it was a camp, and it was only open for 5 weeks because of COVID. So this was week 4, so I only missed like the last week and a half of it. I couldn't work there after that because that's when I was at the worst. I had to elevate 24/7. I had to keep a cast on 24/7. I couldn't take it off at all. So, I mean, the first week of it was rough because I was on painkillers. I was out of it. So it's pretty
How
much
was
that.
how was your experience at the hospital or the doctor's office?
Oh, it was
The
all.
first time you broke it.
Oh, well, that was the only time I broke a foot. It was awful. I had to wait 2 hours just for a simple X-ray. Then they told me, come back in 5 days. We'll do a surgery. Then they told me, oh, never mind. We want to do it tonight because the surgeon just happens to be available. I did not expect my day to end up doing a surgery at 9 o'clock at night. They give you COVID test before you go under a surgery now. So that was my first COVID test. Got the results back in 30 minutes? Negative. Had surgery. I woke up at midnight and they discharged me at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, so they discharged you pretty quickly.
Yep.
What was the experience like in the hospital? You know, due to COVID, I'm sure everything is pretty hectic.
A lot of people were there for non-COVID stuff. I believe. I mean, I heard women screaming. I don't know what that was about, but.
Okay, all right. I want to go on. So this is good. You are Viola. You got very lucky. You asked good questions, but you got lucky because Seth is very voluble. So you got good answers, and that was fun. It was fun to listen to, and it would be good, make good TV or a good video. Yeah, everybody. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna. I have some videos that I want to show you. That one in particular, but. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to do a little, where are we? I have 3 videos that I want to show. One is very long. One is one of mine. And this one I want to start off first because I think you'll find this interesting. I was looking for videos to show you, and I came across this. Can everybody see? Yep.
Yes.
Come on.
There is a new billionaire in town. Trump's the name. Donald Trump is a major deal maker, a swashbuckler. Donald, you're in your late 30s. You got 40 years to live, minimum.
Well, I hope you're right about that.
What are you going to do?
There are a lot of things to do. You know, a fertile imagination and a good fertile mind, Mike, it's really amazing what can be thought of. There are so many things to do.
Politics?
So many. No, not politics.
You've said that you could do a better job at negotiating an arms control agreement with the Soviets than some of these professionals who've been trying to do it for years.
I didn't say me, Mike. I said somebody has to do it. If it were me, that'd be fine. I could do it. Somebody has to help this country. And if they don't, the country and the world are in big trouble. Because within a short period of time, as sure as we're sitting here, there's not going to be a country and there's not going to be a world.
So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. So what'd you think?
The irony.
Yeah, pretty revealing, no? Omar, did you see that? Omar? Anybody else?
It's always striking to see old clips of Trump and how, he used to speak in complete sentences. Now he just speaks in catchphrases now. So And he actually looks good compared to what he
I
looks
knew
like
him
now.
then. I knew him then. I was one of the reporters he'd call, so I interviewed him many times, and he was like that.
Yeah.
But I think the philosophy that he was espousing was kind of revelatory, because it certainly is the precursor to what we are seeing now and what he's been talking about for 4 years or more publicly. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
So having seen that, we're going to go to this video. I'm going to share again. All right, you know what, I put these on the website so I would have easy access, but let me see if I can get a full screen if I just go directly to YouTube.
There are 188 other countries right now that are suffering.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Yes? Come on, where is that? I lost it? Very sorry, very sorry, very sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to stop sharing. I thought I was being so clever.
But you've been...
Okay, guys. Okay, now this is a really good interview, and it's a really, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but it's, well, we could, but it's a really good interview from the beginning. Here we go. Everybody got it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. President, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time, and we appreciate your commitment to answer our questions. Sure. Over the years, I've heard you talk about your adherence to a philosophy called positive thinking. This is the mantra that if you believe something, if you visualize it, then it will happen. To an extent, I also think in terms of the downside. Right. I've been given a lot of credit for positive thinking, but I also think about downside, because only a fool doesn't. To what extent do you think that positive thinking mindset is suitable to handling the worst pandemic that we've seen in a century? I think you have to have a positive outlook. Otherwise, you would have nothing without a positive outlook. I think we've done an incredible job between the ventilators and stopping very infected people from China coming in, meaning putting the ban on China, which frankly nobody wanted me to do, practically nobody, because it was very early in January. Then putting the ban on Europe, not an easy thing to do. When you put a ban on Europe, that's a big thing. We would have probably lost hundreds of thousands of lives more had I not done that. And all of the experts, every one of them, not one of them wanted to do it. They thought it was too severe. 3 months later, they're all saying, I'm glad you did it. The criticism of you that is most prominent is about the communication. It's the public health experts saying that it needs to be based in reality. And they're saying that the wishful thinking and the salesmanship is just not suitable in a time when a pandemic has killed 145,000 Americans. And it's that I understand what you're saying, that people need to hear positive thinking. But, you know, for the past 5 months, it's been the virus is totally under control. And the cases have been going up and the deaths have been going up. But you've been saying it's under control. Nobody knew what this thing was all about. This has never happened before. 1917, but it was a totally different It was a flu in that case, okay? But other than 1917, there's never been anything like this. And by the way, if you watch the fake news on television, they don't even talk about it. But you know, there are 188 other countries right now that are suffering, some proportionately far greater than we are, okay? As bad as we are.
Very few.
Some proportionately greater than we are. Right now, Spain is having a big spike. There are tremendous problems in the world. You look at Moscow, look at what's going on with Moscow, look at Brazil, look at these countries, what's going on. This was sent to us by China, one way or the other, and we're never going to forget it. Believe me, we're never going to forget it. And we were beating China at every single point. We were beating them on trade. We were making progress like nobody's ever made progress. They had, before the pandemic, they had the worst year, Jonathan, that they've had in 67 years. You know that, with the tariffs and everything else I did. We were taking in billions of dollars. I was giving some of it to the farmers. The farmers were doing well because they were targeting the farmers. I was targeting China. We were doing good. Then all of a sudden the game changed and I had to close it down. I closed down the greatest economy ever in history. And then I closed it down and now we're opening it. And we say, by the way, by closing it down, we saved millions of lives. If we would have gone to herd, and we knew very little about the disease, if we would have gone herd, we would have lost millions of people, millions of people. One person's too much. We're at 140,000 people. One person is too much. We're at 140. We would have lost millions of people. And those people that really understand it, they said it's incredible the job that we've done. And again, I bring it up. Banning China from coming in.
But it was already in here. It was already here. Like by the time you banned China,
nobody knew the extent. Nobody knew how contagious it was.
But the question is, Mr. President, China, by June, we knew things were bad. And you know, the last time I was with you was the day before your Tulsa rally in the Oval. And you know, you were saying big, huge crowd. It was indoors.
By the way,
these people, they listen to you.
Excuse me, Jenna. Yeah. We had a 19,000 seat stadium. First of all, we had 12,000 people, not 6,000, which you reported and other people reported. But you couldn't even get in. It was like an armed camp.
Why would you have wanted that?
120 Black Lives Matter people.
I understand, but why would you have wanted a huge crowd?
Excuse me, wait. And Tulsa, well, because that area was a very good area at the time. It was an area that was pretty much over. After a month later, it started going up. That's a month later. But Tulsa was a very good. Oklahoma was doing very well as a state. It was almost free. It spiked a month later, a month and a half, 2 months later, but it was a good area. We had a tremendous crowd. We had tremendous response. You couldn't even, it was like an armed camp. You couldn't even get through. You couldn't get anybody in. But we had 12,000 people. It was incorrectly reported. The other thing we had that nobody wants to talk about, so Fox broadcast it. It was the highest rating in the history of Fox television, Saturday night. It was the highest rating. My speech, well, wait a minute, you're saying something.
Yeah.
That speech was the highest rated speech in the history of Fox television on Saturday night. And nobody says that.
I think you misunderstand me. I'm not criticizing your ability to draw a crowd. Are you kidding me? I've covered you for 5 years. You draw massive crowds, you get huge ratings. I'm asking about the public health.
And I canceled another one. I had to cancel it. Right. We're going to have a great crowd in New Hampshire, and I canceled it for the same reason.
But here's the question. I've covered you for a long time. I've gone to your rallies. I've talked to your people. They love you. They listen to you. They listen to every word you say. They hate on your word. They don't listen to me or the media or Fauci. They think we're fake news. They want to get their advice from you. And so when they hear you say everything's under control, don't worry about wearing masks, these are people, many of them are older people.
What's the definition of control? Yeah. Under the
giving them a false sense of security.
Now, I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is. But that doesn't mean we aren't doing everything we can. It's under control as much as you can control it. This is a horrible plague that beset us.
You really think this is as much as we can control?
Well,
1,000 deaths a day?
I'd like to know if somebody, first of all, we have done a great job. We've gotten the governors everything they needed. They didn't do their job. Many of them didn't, and some of them did. Someday we'll sit down, we'll talk about the successful ones, the good ones. Look at that smile. The good ones are the bad. We had good and bad. And we had a lot in the middle, but we had some incredible governors. I could tell you right now who the great ones are and who the not so great ones are. but the governors do it. We gave them massive amounts of material.
Mr. President, you changed your message this week in terms of cancelled the Jacksonville Convention. You said wear a mask. You're saying, that it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's not something you like to say. I know you said that. The big question,
not get worse like the original flow. You understand that? But
I hope not.
Now, if you look, Arizona's going down.
If I could just finish my question.
Texas is going down, and Florida's going down.
The question is, are you going to, even some of your own aides wonder whether you would stick to that message until election day, whether in a week or two you won't say, right, we've got to reopen again. We can't do this stuff anymore, that you'll get bored of talking about the virus and go back to that sort of cheerleading.
I never get bored of talking about this. It's too big a thing. And again,
Okay. So your thoughts about the interview?
The interviewer held his feet to the fire. Even though Trump's tactic is to overtalk, try to pivot as many times as he wants, as much as he can, of course, lie. That's his brand now. But the interviewer really took him to task every moment of the interview. He did not allow him to take control of the interview.
Right. What else?
I noticed the interview also sort of appeased Trump, I guess you could say, by when he was saying oh yeah, I'm not questioning your ability to draw a crowd. I'm not questioning how much your supporters love you. They listen to you, sort of throwing him a bone, and hopefully maybe then he'll start being a bit more agreeable.
Great observations, both of you. And I think that's really important. And when you're interviewing people, even if you are potentially hostile in this kind of situation, you really need to say it's the truth that people in those crowds seem to love him. And this reporter has been following him long enough to be able to say that with authority. So I think that you have to vary the language in a sentence, vary the words. I think you have to vary your approach. As you come up to somebody, you just don't want to ask one hard question after another, but you do want to say, well, yeah, sure, you're right, but that's not what I was asking. That's not where we're going. And can you tell me? Does everybody see that? I mean, I don't think any of you right now will be confronted by a hard, hostile interview, but in the future, perhaps. And it really requires you to use your social skills. It helps, of course, that this reporter is Australian. He's got an accent, and this kind of thing appeals to Trump. So his whole package is kind of a vanity. It's also an HBO interview, so that is kind of a vanity. So there are a lot of things that appeal to Trump about this interviewer, but it was a devastating interview, no?
Yes, it was.
It was really hard for me to just listen to Trump without wanting to be hostile to him. I mean, it was, after a while, I just felt like, God, I felt like I was being tortured.
Yeah.
Listening to this man talk and just saying one, stupid thing after another. It was just.
Right. But the interviewer was really polite, and he listened, and he didn't let Trump get away with anything. Fiola, what's your view about this?
During the interview, I think, like you said, the interviewer didn't really let Trump, sort of, he made him, in a way, answer all the questions that he was asking. I think maybe Trump didn't exactly know that he was doing that. It was more of the journalist had this sort of tactic. Like one of my classmates said, he kind of threw him a bone to open him up into answering more of the questions.
Mm-hmm. That was Nate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right. Sherry, do you have anything to add?
No, everything's fine.
Okay. Seth, anything?
So it's interesting how Trump just couldn't respond to the hostile questions that the interviewer gave him.
Catherine, anything?
I just agree with what everyone said about how the interviewer was really good at like keeping his composure, focusing on what Trump is saying, because I think it was Omar who stated that it was kind of hard to really listen to him, because he tends to, I personally feel like he tends to stutter a lot and then go from not finishing sentences and then goes from one thing to another. So yeah, he was really good in keeping his composure and continuing the interview that way.
Right. So the other thing was that he had all the information. He could not, the reporter could not be challenged on the facts, that he was totally familiar with Trump, and that what really struck me was his way into the interview, his angle into the interview was Trump's belief in positive thinking. So that he led him to a place that he couldn't escape from. In other words, you believe in positive thinking. And then Trump talked about that. And then he asked if this positive thinking wasn't distorting, trying to sell this message, wasn't distorting the reality for those of us in the world who have suffered from or are fearful of COVID and all these things. So, but it was a clever way. So he researched that, thought about it. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going to ask the president 10 questions. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then he was nimble enough, Yuli and Desiree, you with me on this? And then he was nimble enough to be able to go point by point. He let Trump take credit. He did. He let him take credit for closing down China, doing this, and then he just went on. He didn't interrupt him and say, but, you know? Okay, so there's another kind of interview that I did a lot of that you probably will not do, but I'm gonna show you. You wanna see a story of mine?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hoping we can get a full screen of this from the website. Let's just see. Let me see if I have to go back to Vimeo. Ugh, all right, sorry. Okay, here we are. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you again. Okay.
Well, he siphoned millions in tax dollars and almost got away with it.
2 years after Barbara Nevins Taylor first reported the story, Attorney General Andrew Cuomo's office finally cracked down on a blatant Medicaid scammer.
And Barbara was there this morning for the arrest, which you won't see anywhere else. It's been 2 years, and at this point, no one is sure how much taxpayer money is lost. But one thing is certain. The alleged architect of the scheme is finally behind bars. 6 a.m., the alleged master Medicaid scammer was wearing only his boxer shorts when he opened the door to his Kew Gardens mansion for investigators and the police.
Let's see what we...
His son-in-law arrived to surrender with him. Where's the money? I'm sorry? Get away from him. His wife couldn't protect him for long. Minutes later, David Abramoff, his son-in-law, Michael Isikoff, and son Arthur were let out in handcuffs. David, can you tell us where the money is? Can you tell us where the money is? Are you sorry now? Are you sorry now? Did you think you wouldn't get caught? 2 years ago, we reported that David Abragamov, a native of Uzbekistan, an Israeli citizen, was in this country illegally and should have been deported. We found that he, his son, and son-in-law appeared to be defrauding Medicaid in the dental clinics they ran. Why are you paying people to come to the dental clinic?
I don't know what you're talking about.
These men are not dentists. They just hire the dentist, do the billing, and take a big chunk of the profits. And in 2008, they refused to talk to us.
No comment, sweetheart.
Our undercover investigation found that Abragamov, his son and son-in-law, apparently broke the law by illegally paying recruiters or flyer guys to bring Medicaid patients to their clinics. And then they apparently broke the law again by bribing patients, paying them to get cleanings and other expensive dental procedures.
Medicaid eligible.
Bribing patients to get Medicaid treatment violates federal law and state rules. And our 2008 investigation laid out the whole scheme. Sally, not her real name, went undercover for us. She was recruited outside of a Medicaid office.
$10? What? This is strictly.
A recruiter, a flyer guy, took Sally to the dental clinic, and she handed over her Medicaid card.
Thank you very much. I know. You don't have to worry about me.
A dentist did the cleaning in 4 minutes and billed Medicaid $55. Sally declined to have her teeth pulled as the dentist recommended. She was paid $10 for the visit.
They're using the system, and it needs to stop.
We also found that vans brought patients from homeless shelters to the clinics, which were always full.
It's outrageous.
In 2008, we showed our report to the Medicaid Inspector General, Mike Little, and he promised an investigation.
We'll initiate an inquiry, and we will take it where it needs to go.
Little turned the investigation over to Attorney General Andrew Cuomo's office. Nothing happened until this past April. We began investigating again and found that the Abragamovs opened a third clinic in the Bronx. Where can we find Mr. Abragamov?
Call the cops. Can you leave?
We're leaving. 2 years later, Medicaid cards were still the currency. The New York Post jumped in with a story after a reporter was offered money to get a cleaning. Suddenly, there was a raid on the Abragamov clinics, and that was because of our report. We obtained a pre-indictment memo written by Assistant Attorney Generals. It says, quote, Fox 5's impending coverage of the Abragamov clinics led us to execute the search warrants on an expedited basis. The same document says investigators for the Attorney General's office found that Abragamov's son Arthur and his son-in-law Michael Isikoff did the Medicaid billing for the dentist's work. When the dentist received the Medicaid money, they wrote personal checks to corporations controlled by Abragamov, giving him 2/3 of the money. It's illegal for dentists to split Medicaid fees, according to former Medicaid Inspector James Memmott. What should happen to people who do this?
Well, they should immediately be thrown out of the Medicaid program.
The Attorney General's investigators found that the Abragamovs encouraged dentists to perform expensive work, including pulling teeth and making dental bridges. Sometimes they cut corners to get the most money quickly. It's not clear how much Medicaid money disappeared. The Fulton Street office, the document we obtained says, billed over $5,700,000 from 2006 to 2010. And in one of the Abragamov's corporate accounts, MB Globus, investigators found that over $2,900,000 was deposited by dentists.
They really should have taken an immediate action and put these guys out of business.
Abragamov quickly turned the money into cash, according to the Attorney General's memo. And sources tell us most of the money appears to be out of the country. So outside the 84th precinct in downtown Brooklyn, where they were brought for processing, we asked the question again. First of the son-in-law who ran the business. Will you tell us where the money is? Where'd you guys put the money? And the brains of the operation? Where did you hide the money? What do you say to the people that you ripped off, the taxpayers of America? Do you have anything to say to the taxpayers of America? In court, Abragamov was denied bail and sent directly to jail. His son, son-in-law, and a dentist indicted in the case were granted bail. They'll have to surrender their passports and wear electronic monitoring devices. In the meantime, investigators tell me they're still looking for the money. Barbara Nevins Taylor, Fox 5 News.
So that's different. Oh. Sorry. So your thoughts?
You have to fix. You have to fix skin to do what you do. Someone trying to call the cops on you.
Believe me, I've been shot at, I've been chased, I've been spit at. I've been pushed. I've been everything.
Oh my God.
When you're in the middle of it, you know, I honestly, I have a piece missing, or I had a piece missing. When you're in the middle of it, you don't think about that. You're just focused. You're there. You're trying to get the story. You're trying to do this. You just don't think about it. You just don't think about it.
Wow.
But the interview technique is what I was talking about. This confrontational kind of thing. I mean, it's just getting in people's faces, and that's sometimes people just refuse to see you. So the only thing you can do is get in their face. I mean, I worked on that you saw it, for years. And before the story even aired, it was a year, I worked on that story for a year earlier, from a year earlier. So it was a lot. We had a lot of stakeouts waiting for these people in order to be able to try to have a conversation with them. You know, it was possible. Sometimes people will invite you in, and then you can actually sit down and talk to them. But they wouldn't have invited you in if you didn't go out there and get in their face. Anybody have any thought about that? Anything? Any of this?
Well, them refusing to answer, and like the wife saying, get away from him, and the woman in the office saying, will you leave? We're going to call the police. Like, that is telling the audience a lot.
Yes.
It's confirming that there's something wrong here, and that you guys have uncovered something, and then you've had to come back 2 years later to uncover it again, because the powers that be aren't doing their job. And so their confrontational, or their response, you know, you having to get in their face, their response communicates a lot.
Yeah, it helps tell. It's a technique. It's a story technique. It helps tell the story. These confrontations help tell the story, because if they're not going to sit down and talk to you and give you an interview and explain why they're cheating, or stealing, or defrauding, and I mean, honestly, my career was built on, in the past, the 10, 15 years of my career, those were the kinds of stories that I did. But if people invite you in and sit down with you and tell you the story, it changes the nature of the story. Susan's right. It changes the nature of the story, because you have to be nice. You have to do what Jonathan Swan did with Donald Trump. You have to sit, you have to listen, you have to be respectful. But if people are not going to respect you, then, you know, it's kind of like a free-for-all. It's you can go pretty much go for it, but you just have to be careful that you know what you're talking about. Anybody else? Nate, your observation as a reporter?
The thing that I noticed the most was just like how years of work is consolidated into a couple minute report. Like everything from like this happened, and then a couple years later we had to go back again, or getting letters from then Attorney General Cuomo, and like the report that that your investigation had helped them expedite their investigation. Like all this stuff that took so long to do is so densely packed into that one package.
Right. And thank you very much. Thanks for bringing that up, because it's a good point. It's not that I'm so great or the story's so great, but what is good about it is that it has a lot of information in like 4 minutes, a lot of information. I was wincing as I looked at, when I pulled this video up from my Vimeo, I didn't look at it all the way through. And I was wincing when I looked at the editing and I saw stuff didn't match. And I thought, like, who did that? You know, I wasn't involved in that. That was, I mean, we were staking out since 6 a.m. and this was reported on the 10 o'clock news. So, you know, it was like, I had to get the story together fast, and somebody edited it, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't a seamless edit. So, you know, I wouldn't have showed it to you, honestly, just on the basis of that, because it was, I mean, the words didn't match at the end. The editor was trying to just jam everything together. And also, in fairness to that editor, he didn't have access to all the video, because when I reported that story for a station called UPN 9, which was also owned by Rupert Murdoch or Fox. And then I moved to, but it was all the same company, but then I moved physically to Fox, and all the video was back at UPN 9, so we just didn't have access to it. So it was a matter of not having access to a lot of the stuff that we should have, that would have made it a visually more interesting story. Also, in doing that kind of story, it's very difficult because the photographers are working as hard as they can to try to keep up, but they don't always. When we staked out David Abragamov, the older man, for weeks. And when we finally got him, when he finally came out of his office, the photographer got fouled up on Fulton Street, where that dental clinic was. When I say he got fouled up, he got tangled up with someone in the street. There were people in the street. So I had a wireless mic that was recording, but the photographer didn't have any pictures. So, and it wasn't his fault. So we did a graphic with Abragamov, and with his voice underneath that. But because we did have the freeze frame of him. But when you're doing this kind of thing, the visuals are so imperfect often because they're jittery, they're jarry, but also it helps kind of tell the story, no? Anybody else? Jennifer, what's your thought? You have a thought?
Yeah, I agree with Nate and with you about how like all the information was condensed into a small enough portion that was understandable and actually got the story across. Because like you said, if it was longer, people would probably lost interest. And then also just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's an important lesson for us here in this class where we're trying to tell stories short form. You know, it's not a documentary. It's a news story. It's a short form story. So how can we best tell it? That's why we're going to work on writing in the next couple of weeks so that you can enhance your writing skills in order to be able to do that. If you think, as you go on with the rest of your week, if you just keep one thing, an earworm, in mind, think about writing these stories like you would think about writing a song. So not that it's musical in any way, but it's just the economy of words. If you think of somebody, pick out a song that they like and bring in the lyrics next week, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay? Who's gonna bring a song in next week? You want to bring a song in? Okay, you two. Both of you. Bring the lyrics. We'll put the lyrics. We'll play the music, and then we'll put the lyrics up on the screen, just to see. There's a real comparison just in terms of the brevity and getting a point across in a few words. Anybody else on this? Elena, do you have a thought?
Not really. It was kind of all said. Going back to what you were saying about all the information being condensed, it was just really like fast paced, and you didn't linger on one thing too long. Like the story was always moving. So it was really easy to follow too with like the visuals. And going back to the Trump interview, like I think the interviewer like did a good job keeping Trump on track, and like it's just like what you said with being aggressive and like making sure that you get what you need.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you have to make sure that you make the right choices, that you first of all know what you want and where you're going. That's number one. And number two is that you keep everything in your sphere, in your little world, you keep all of that together so that you could just make that straight line through the story, and you're clear about where you're going so that everybody is with you. Everybody stays with you all the time. Okay, Yuli, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, everyone said what was on her mind.
Okay, Lilibeth?
No, I agree with everything.
Catherine?
No.
Okay, Yeah, Desiree?
No, I'm good. I'm agree with all of you.
Great. All righty. So that's it for us. Anybody who wants to stay to talk to me, please do. And I'll be here. I'm sitting here. Thank you for a great class. Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Professor.
Bye. Remember what the assignment is for next week. Redo these stories.
Yes.
Okay. Nate, do your story. Jay, do your story. Omar, do your story. Okay?
At some point, I'm going to need to get a reinstallation of the program because I never got it installed correctly.
Okay.
You said you were going to get a new sign-in, or?
Yeah, but we're not. So we're not getting a new sign-in. We've got an extension of the old sign-in. So I would just go back. Maybe I'll have Marco work with you.
Okay, yeah, because I never got mine to work.
All right. So maybe I'll get Marco to work with you and see if he can help you get it, install it.
Okay.
What's your schedule like?
Pretty open. I mean, you know, most days.
If not Marco, maybe I can get somebody from the department. So I'll let me see if I can get somebody from the department. Then I'll email you and we'll set up a Zoom conference. Okay?
All right. That'd be great. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Please bring your story in next week. Your VOSOT. Very simple.
All right.
Okay. Great.
What SOT means stream of thought.
Sound on tape, soundbite, 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 portion of an interview.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
You said you want to follow up with me on.
I do.
Do you want to do that now or do you want to do that later?
Now is perfect. Perfect time. Okay. So why don't you seem to understand what the VOSOT is. You know, just very simple, not complicated at all. I still think you need to improve the shooting. You know, you need to do those 5 shots and you need to move around a lot more. So I think you want to work on that, and you know, maybe you want to reshoot. I like the subject of what you did because it's good. You know, it's interesting, and the video was okay because it was outside. It was a pretty day, but you can do better. And I think, you know, why not use the week to flex your muscle a little bit?
Well, I don't know if I'll have the opportunity or not.
If you don't have time, that's fine.
I mean, I don't know whether they'll be doing it again.
So if you don't have the time, that's okay. So then what you should do is put what you have together as a package, like you wrote it originally, except instead of VO, it would be track. Well, I think you had track in the, so it would be, and send me the script when you put it together, and then I'll make notes on that and send it back to you.
Okay, so, but I'll still have a lead.
Right, you have the lead, and then you might start with Natch Sot of Tim playing the guitar, or something, whatever you know, you were there. I don't know the story. You know, I'm just making this up as I go along. So you know what you want. And then, so you might start with Natch Sot, and then you have, and each track should be very short, no more than 3 or 4 lines.
And then do I typically, okay, so I'm saying for each track.
Right. So,
but each track also will have several shots. Like as I'm talking, there'll probably be several shots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I have quite a bit of video. I mean, originally I videoed me getting there on the bus and everything, but I got rid of all that.
Listen to me. So think about it this way. Each 8 lines equals about 25 seconds. You don't want your tracks to be 25 seconds, but so don't get confused here. So in a VOSOT, you have 8 lines for 25 seconds, and you have a variety of shots. Each shot should be 3 to 4 seconds. That's it. So think about how many shots you need to fill that 25 seconds. But they have to be shots that make sense for the story, and they have to be shots that are part of a sequence. Go back and look at, on the website, and if you go back and look at the 5-shot sequence, the bicycle and the woman sitting on the bench, go back and look at them. You know, it seems boring, but go back and look. They're very instructive. They're really good. Get this. It's a skill you'll have forever. You can use it in your work.
Yeah. My coworkers are like, don't let anybody know you're learning Premiere Pro. You have a whole nother
tab. A whole nother job. Exactly.
Okay. So I may kind of go with what I was originally thinking with my script.
Totally fine.
But, and then I can, if I want to, I can do 2, I don't know that I want to, but I could do 2 SOTs.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you can do it in a package. You can do as many SOTs as you want. Please look at the scripts, the local news scripts that I have on the website.
I did. You sent me a link last night. I did.
Right. No, I think I sent it to you for the VOSOT.
Oh, yeah, you did.
So
That's
there
right.
are package scripts on the website. Look at them.
I will do.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
Please ask. Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Catherine, are you there?
Yes. I was hoping if we could talk now.
Oh, sure. Well, let me. Your conversation is longer. Let me see if Desiree needs something. Desiree?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So is yours long or short?
No, you told me that I can do something else about my video.
Yes. So what do you want to do with your video?
I was planning to do the same thing with the Starbucks.
Right.
But
remind me. I'm sorry. Remind me about your video.
It's like how is the service right now? During pandemic, like before COVID-19.
What do you show in your video?
All the people buying things in Starbucks, the cashier talking with the customers. Yeah, pretty much that was.
Okay, and you have the video, so do a VOSOT based on that. So you were in the class, you saw what the issue was with everybody.
Yeah.
So just use what you have. Okay.
Okay. Oh, so I can use the same one?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
If the video is good. If it's not good, and you heard what I said about everybody's video, if it's not good, forget it. And don't be lazy and do different
something
videos.
else.
Look, this is a skill you're going to have. If you get it, as I said to Susan, look at the 5-shot videos, the 2 of them that I have under shooting on the website. Look at them again. You know, you say, oh, I already saw those. I don't want to go back. Go back. They're really instructional and they'll help you. Again, if you have 25 seconds of copy, you need to have many shots because the shots that you put up there will only be 3 to 4 seconds long.
Yeah. So I can show you my video again, so I can send it to you.
Yeah.
So you can refresh your mind and then remember what you told me about the video.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna send it to you today. Okay, thank you.
Are you sharing the screen?
No, I'm gonna send it to you like to your email.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Because you say I think you saw it last week.
Do you want to show it now?
Yeah, I can do it if you want.
Show it now. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Let me find it.
Catherine, hang on.
Okay, no problem.
Desiree, you're sharing?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the video. Okay, so now I'm going to share now.
Okay. Oh, I remember this. Okay. Okay, so I remember this, Desiree. This is the video's
Yeah.
fine, except that you need to re-edit it so you don't have a jump cut and you
Yeah.
and all the stuff we talked about last week. You need to fix that up. But
Yeah.
you also need to remember the VOSOT is very simple. You have a lead, you have one paragraph, maybe 25 seconds, that would be 8 lines, where you read over. So I would write the script and then lay the video down so that it exactly matches your words. But do not record the track. Do not record the track.
Okay.
You with me on this?
Yes.
Because you'll read it live like everybody else did today.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I
Bye.
appreciate it. Okay. Adios. Okay. Catherine.
Hello. 1 second. I think I can put my video on now. I was kicked out of the of the class because my internet was weird. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
Do you need to get some device from the college? You know, they have stuff that has good internet.
No, it's just a matter of like turning off the video, and that kind of helps. This was like a one-time thing today, I guess, because this was the first time I was actually kicked out like that. So
All right. So, but the college does have laptops and iPads that are equipped with Wi-Fi. So it's there, you know, you have it already. So, you know, why not ask for it? It's
okay.
free. Free.
I'll think about it. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it. I understand. Okay. So what can I do for you?
Yeah, so I was unsure of really like how can I improve my video? Like can we look at it now and like
Sure.
kind of pinpoint like exactly where?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna just lower the volume of it, if that's okay, because
Yeah, it's very loud. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So Marco showed you how to bring it down, right? You put your cursor on that line and you just bring it down, you pull it down when you to lower the volume when it's on the timeline.
Oh, I was showing this from
I know you're showing it from a movie, but before you export it, you want to make sure that the sound is at a reasonable level, you know?
Yeah, I have to look at that again. I'm not sure if I really remember.
Okay.
But I think I can look it up. Yeah. All right. Let me share my screen. 1 second. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Okay. So first I'm going to tell you that when I saw this shot, stop just a second.
Yeah.
So go back.
So this was like the.
Oh, that was your opening shot. So what is the story about?
So I wanted to show kind of like the patio area, I guess, if that's
right.
Called,
okay, but wait.
Outside.
Wait. But what is the story about?
Okay, yeah. So the story is about the gym's reopening. And I was gonna talk about Equinox and Blink because I know that Equinox group owns Blink as well. And
wait a second. But you're showing me a patio restaurant, right?
Yeah. Okay. So that would.
Which are you going to talk about? But even let's hang on just a second. Having a really bad back problem. I'm sorry. Okay. So, okay. So what
Yeah, I think I could have taken a
Okay,
better
wait.
shot.
All right, wait. So this is about, let's just say this is about restaurants, right?
Mhm.
Don't, just say you're doing a story about restaurants being reopened, correct?
Yeah.
Look at that first shot. What is that?
Yeah, there's a whole pole in the middle and
Right, there's a
too far
pole
away.
in the middle, a
Yeah.
pole in the middle.
Yeah.
What you need to do, if you were going to do this right, is to see that little cute table over there?
Yeah.
Right.
I would have to get closer to the
Right.
what's happening. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Get closer.
So, and this shot is horrible. And I was surprised at you because you have a good eye. I've seen you shoot pretty things.
Yeah, it's when I was trying to get this together, it was very rushed, just because of my other classes and
Okay, don't make
yeah.
excuses. Don't make excuses.
I know.
Don't,
Yeah.
it's terrible. Don't make
Mhm.
excuses. It's what I'm telling you is that every shot you take has to be
Mhm.
perfect. Every shot has to be as pretty as, was that your boyfriend in bed?
Yes.
Yeah, has to be as pretty as that one shot. Has to be as pretty as that.
Mhm.
So we have and you have all the possibilities there. You have the tables, you have the restaurants. Go on, let's go. Keep playing it. This sign, it doesn't tell you anything. The street sign doesn't tell you anything. You want to show Rockefeller Center? This does show something of Rockefeller Center, but a wider shot from the street probably would have been better of the building. Do you know what I mean? And even then, I'm not so sure. So, but that sign, the street sign doesn't do it. You don't need to do that. Go ahead, keep playing.
Okay. One moment. I'm just writing down notes to make sure that I know. Okay.
Real estate is always inherently boring, so you want to get things that have people in them.
Yeah.
And some movement.
You said this shot was kind of okay, but
It's okay. I mean, it says Rockefeller Center for those of us who know it's Rockefeller Center.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes, as a maintenance
Oh,
person.
go back, sweetie.
Because
Go back. So, but when you get a shot like that, you want a steady shot, and I hope these tripods will help. So you just want one shot. If you want to do a close-up, then you would get another shot. Do you see what I'm saying?
So you would want this. So the way that I was like moving the camera.
Yeah, you don't want to move the camera.
So just
every shot should be steady. Okay. Don't do that. Get steady shots for now. There's a style where you move it around, but that's, it's jarring. You really have to be the master of this stuff in order to make it work.
Okay.
Yes, as a maintenance person, we feel comfortable and safe because once we
Okay, go past her. And then there was this jump cut. All you needed was the one soundbite from her. The two sound bites together is a jump cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, I felt, so it was like a whole interview and then I tried to edit it out.
Yeah. All you need is one idea from her. One idea. She feels safe because she's got the PPE, or she's worried about this. One idea. That's it.
Like one or two sentences that's
and
an idea.
Sound bites are generally no longer than 10 or 15 seconds. 15 seconds is a long time.
Okay, got it. Okay. And I'm just gonna fast forward.
Fast forward past her.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, the street sign doesn't do anything for me. Zooming into it doesn't do anything for me.
Okay.
And it shouldn't do anything for you either.
Yeah, I don't know, I was thinking like that it would like show the location of the place that I'm talking about.
Yeah, but if you show the busy intersection, it might be better. Cars going by. Something.
Okay. Alrighty, so that.
And then you could put up in the right-hand corner, you could put the words Belmont Avenue.
In the right-hand corner, how do you mean? Like?
Well, you could put a graphic, like the words, the words you would put in the screen, a locator, Belmont Avenue, or on the bottom. If you did a wide shot, you don't necessarily need the sign if you've got some nice video that shows the neighborhood. But here it's ugly. We have another pole right smack in the middle.
Okay.
The thermometer that we have, a lot of people complain because they want to get checked to their wrist, but it's mandatory that we are taking
too much movement. Yeah, so all right, so just too much movement. Let me stop sharing and let me share a screen with you.
Yeah.
So were you in the class when
Professor, I have about maybe like 18 minutes. I do have to, yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. Okay. Were you in the class when we did the image composition?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. So let's take a look at this video.
Okay.
Remember, the composition is important, but also rules are meant to be broken. So the main point is to enjoy yourself while you're photographing, and photograph in your own way, your own style.
So that's for stills, but the same rules apply.
Yeah.
Rule of thirds, the way you set up a shot. I mean, if you never want to put like that pole in the center.
Yeah, I realized I really wasn't thinking about framing, rule of thirds, all the
All
basic
that
stuff.
stuff. All right,
Just
one
like
more
that.
share, and then I'm going to let you go. But I want you to. I want to make sure that you. Hang on. Are you going to work?
No, it's so my French class, which is my next class, we're taking an oral exam, and our professor had us choose a specific time that we would go next.
Oh, wait. Okay. Hang on. I need to share. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, this is the second week that this happened, which was nice because I could
really
actually
great.
take class. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play this video.
Okay.
You see how short the shots are?
Yeah, I see.
So the idea is you shoot 10 seconds and you shoot the whole sequence, but you only use a little bit of each one.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep the variety. Variety. Same thing with your writing. Your writing tends to be a little stilted, and you want to. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Like, yeah. I feel like I repeated a few words sometimes.
You repeat the words. You know, it's just you want to have more of a conversation. You talk better than you write.
Okay.
So you want to write like you talk.
Okay. So it has to sound more natural, is what.
Yeah. Such
okay.
as. You never want to say such as.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I was gonna present, I was like, oh, I know that word. She's not gonna like that one.
Yeah, exactly.
It was too late.
So,
yeah.
I mean, you're a smart woman, and I know you have a good eye. I do. I saw it, and I saw what you shot. You just need to be willing to commit and think it through. Think it through.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right.
Good.
This
Are
was
we
very
good? Does that answer all the questions?
Yes, I think. Do you recommend that I should stick with this so-called story?
Kind of boring because you don't have any action. So the stories, what stories that you saw that other students did that you liked? I mean, Susan's story was good because it had people outside that were doing something. Jennifer's story had potential because it was outside. People were doing things. Little bit story, same. I mean, it's and there was one other story that was very good. Elena's story had potential. She just didn't. she was nervous about the shooting, and I think she just didn't commit to shooting. And that's really hard to do. That it is. This is all hard. No doubt. So find something else. Find something that's more
Okay.
likely.
Okay, I'll can
And
I?
don't make it up. Like, don't follow your boyfriend. I mean, just
Yeah.
see something in the street that's real and do that story.
Yes.
It's real. Kids playing in, ball in the street, kids playing in the park, a mother and a kid, groups of mothers and kids, anything like that.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you, Professor. Thank
You're
you so much.
welcome. Thank you, Catherine. Okay.
Yeah.
See you
Bye.
next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you next week. Bye.